Ever since I've been making these wee vlogs, there has been one place that I've tried time and time again to capture the feeling of, the history of, but it didn't matter how many times or whatever way I recorded it, I just couldn't seem to capture it. To give you a sense of time, we need to go back over 3,000 years, between 1000 and 500 BC, and at that time the Iron Age was sweeping across Europe and humans had inhabited this area up an old hill where they built a dun, which is an early style of fort. The footprint of that fort can still be seen today. Move forward a few centuries to 100 BC and the Romans have entered Britain and they've made it as far north as Scotland, where they built the Antonine Wall and also a small harbour just north of where I'm heading today. Fast forward 663 years to 563 AD and St Columba settles on the western Scottish Isle of Iona, bringing Christianity to both Scotland and to the Picts. Now an island of religious importance, between the years 800 and 1000 AD, the deceased kings of Scotland were taken to rest on the island of Iona, and that will become more apparent later on. Moving forward to 1314 and the Battle of Bannockburn takes place, releasing Scotland from England's constant threat of rule. The battle was led by Robert the Bruce, who gave these lands to Robert Boyd of Kilmarnock the following year as a way of saying thank you for his part in the battle. Robert Boyd of Kilmarnock then gifted the lands to his grandson, also Robert Boyd, who 45 years later, in 1360, he built the first incarnation of where we're visiting today. This is Portencross. Above the main door of the castle is a window, but that window would have been the main door at one point in history. There would have been a set of stairs that could have been lifted and lowered to allow the people of importance entry into the castle, and all your servants would have went in through the bottom door, which is now the main door. It's also known that the Stewart Kings would have stayed in this castle and they were travelling from their castle down in Dundonald, which is down in South Ayrshire. They would have travelled here and they could have stayed here before making the sea journey back over to the Isle of Bute and into Rothesay where their main castle was. And it's believed that kings of Scotland, after they had passed, would have spent maybe their final resting night in Portencross Castle before leaving this very beach to leave the mainland of Scotland to their final resting place on Iona. That blows my mind. Kings of Scotland could have left the mainland from this spot. Now, if you think the story behind the castle is interesting, wait till you hear the story behind this. When I first saw the cannon, I thought that it was something to do with castle defences, but I was wrong. The story is far more interesting, and it begins 1250 miles away in Lisbon, Portugal. Spain had gathered an armada, and it consisted of 130 ships, 2,500 cannons, 8,000 seamen and almost 20,000 troops, and their sole purpose or their sole intention was to invade England. But England was aware, and they had other ideas. There was various skirmishes between the two nations up and down the English Channel until the evening of the 29th of July, when England sent fire ships into the crowded port of Calais where the Armada was based. There was no Spanish ships damaged, but it did split the fleet, and in the morning a combination of speed, tactics and a bit of bad weather gave the English the upper hand, and they'd split the Armada. Now, with injured on board, badly damaged and unable to turn, some of the Spanish ships were forced to retreat along the east coast of Britain, where they were pursued by the English until they reached the midway past Scotland. The remaining Spanish ships had to make the perilous journey around the top of Scotland. One of them landed in Tobermory, where it was later destroyed by English saboteurs. A number of the Spanish ships wrecked along the west coast of Ireland, and some of them chose to come down the west coast of Scotland. 9 of the ships are unknown, as in their fate is unknown, but one of them is known to have sank just out there. And it's sunk just off there, just off this coast. A Spanish galleon is out there somewhere. In August 1740, locals from Portencross pointed experts in the right direction of where the ship has reported to have been sunk, and the experts gathered 10 brass and 10 iron cannons from the seabed off the deck of the Spanish galleon. And that cannon right there was one of the 10 iron cannons that was raised from the seabed, from the decks of the Spanish galleon. That cannon right there has fought the English. So there we have it, guys. Portencross Castle, a 14th century Scottish castle, and right next to it is a 16th century Spanish galleon cannon. Only in this little spot have you got so much history, and that's why it's taken me so long to try and capture it, and I think I've got it today. If you like that video, then give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these history videos out and about, then drop a comment below. But until next time, take care, and yeah, I'll see you on the next vlog. This place absolutely amazes me.